Okay, welcome to the session on programming. In this session, we'll do some programming. You need not do along with me. You can just wait because we are not yet discussed the programming environments. If you are comfortable, you can download Geni and do it, or you can use any online compiler also. Or if you have Turbo C in your college environment, in your system, then fine, you can do it. But you need not do it, and we will discuss large number of problems. We'll be discussing many problems, then you can practice. And again, I'm not retyping the programs and then just trying to explain it. I don't have any source. With me. I may commit mistakes also. Don't think I'm a super expert in C programming. Okay. So we studied it. I studied it maybe 25 years, 26 years back. And I taught it maybe 4 or 5 times. But anyhow, the best method or the one that is generally followed by everybody is pre-type it, check it, and then go and execute. Go and just try to explain it. I'm not trying to do it because I don't believe in it. The purpose is not to show my talent. The purpose is to improve your talent. So I want to make you a programmer. So I don't want to show my talent, how good I am. I am correctly able to execute all the programs, etc., etc. I am not committing any mistakes. So I will be like you. I will be typing the programs. I will be committing mistakes. Sometimes intentionally, sometimes out of ignorance. I will be committing mistakes. So I will be correcting them and then learning programming. So that's how you have to do it. So as a teacher, I should not pre-type and then tell you that okay, this is the program, this is statement, this is the statement, this statement works like this statement works like this, and this is the logic. First statement does something, second statement does something. I can explain it, but I'm not doing it. I'm typing it dynamically. Similarly, when you are practicing programming, so don't try to open a book, collect the programs, type them, execute them. Okay, don't try to do it. Do it on your own. Okay, think, use your mind. Want to use your use pencil and paper, pen and paper, write something, and then do on your own. That's how you have to learn programming. Please remember that. Whether I pre-type the programs or not, it's a different issue. But if you just type the programs from a textbook, you will never become a programmer. You will just become a typist. So let's start. This session is related to the theory, constants, variables, and then enumerations, escape sequences. Okay. Let us start with variables. Say I declare, say integer a. A is a variable. So what is variable? A variable is an identifier whose value can change during the execution of the program. A variable is an identifier whose value can change during the execution of the program. So let us try it. So I have declared a and I am assigning 10 to a because it is an integer. So I just print it. Print the value of a. So in build, if you use Geni, always use this build. Save it as .c file. After that, use build. Okay. Next, execute. So 10 is printed. Okay. Here you can see 10 is printed. Now I should be able to change the value, whether it is permitted or not. I will change the value to 20. Okay, printf %d a again. I have changed it. So that means here I should get 10, and after that again I should get 20. Let me check. So 10, 20 I am getting. So that means the variable is taking different values at different points of the program. But whenever you overwrite, the previous content is lost. Now I cannot retrieve the 10 here through a, because it is already replaced with 20. So variable is identifier whose value can change during the execution of the program. And now let us try with this constant, const constant int p. Let me experiment. So I don't initialize it here, whether it is permitted or not. I will see. P equal to say 40, equal to a 40, and I will place it right. So I make it 40 and 50. So whether it works or not. So warning, okay, compilation failed. Why? Here is the problem with the compilation. Let us check. P equal to 50 error. Assignment of read-only variable B. Assignment of read-only variable B. What does it mean? So I will just put it in comments. These are actually called as comments. So whenever you put the statements in comments, they will not be having any effect. Okay. So it is something like some test which provides the information. Comment means, so whenever you want to provide any information, you can include anything within the comments. Whatever you type within the comments, that will not be having any impact on the program execution. So that will provide the information. So whenever you are debugging the programs, whenever you are experimenting, so you try to make use of the comments. Now I will write like that. So that means they will not be having any effect. So you can say is equivalent to as if they are not there as far as program execution is concerned. Again, compilation failed. So what is happening? Compilation failed. Assignment of read-only variable. So now what is this read-only variable? Assignment of read-only variable. Read-only variable means the variable which cannot be modified. Whose contents cannot be modified. That means you can retrieve the content, you can print the value of B, but cannot modify it. Here we are assigning 40 to B. Still it is not permitting. Okay. Still it is not permitting. Let me put it in comments. So that means in this version of compiler, probably you have to declare it, you have to initialize it during the declaration itself. Let me check. So compilation finished successfully. Okay, execute. So 40 is printed. So what is happening here? So with respect to these constants, you have to initialize them during the declaration itself. This is the syntax const. You have to use as it is, and then the data type, you can use other data types also depending on your requirement. and then p is the name of the constant, a valid identifier. It is initialized to 40. So it is initialized to 40. So without initialization, it is not accepting. Let me check once again. I don't assign the value here, but let me check it. If it is confusing to you, I will just remove them. Okay. So now what happens? I have not initialized. Will it take some value? I have declared it. I have not assigned any value. Will it take any value? Let me check. Successfully and printed. So 16 is printed. What is this 16? Why 16 is printed? We don't know. It's the garbage actually. Let me check again. So if it is correct, it should print 0 actually because we are not initialized it. So every time it is taking 16. So that means you get some garbage. You get some garbage whenever you are not initializing it. So you can initialize. So b equal to 30. Okay. Now let us see. Build. Execute. So 30 is printed. 30 is printed. So if you don't initialize, it is taking a garbage value. Garbage value that there is no guarantee that every time you will get 16. Please note that. Please note that. Okay. It is actually it is irrelevant there. If it initializes means because it is a numeric variable, numeric type of variable, because it is an integer, it should be initialized to 0, but it's not initialized to 0. Some 16 is printed. Okay. Now b equal to 30. So similar to the previous cases, okay, you have initialized b constant. Now I try to modify it. Can I do it? So in the case of variable, we were able to change it. We were able to change the value of a. Okay. We were able to change the value of a. I can keep here. A equal to 10 and then a equal to 20. I can modify it. But can I do it? Can I do the same with respect to b? B, which is a constant, not a variable. Now let us check. We should get similar message, read-only message. Compilation failed. Okay. You can see here assignment of read-only variable b equal to 50. Assignment of read-only variable. That means so you can initialize a constant variable only during the declaration. After that, you cannot modify its value. That's why it is called as constant. You cannot modify its value. That's why it is called as constant. Okay. So that is regarding variables and constants. Variables and constants. So we don't bother too much about the variables now. So because we achieve, or the C programming language achieves its primary effect because of modification to the variables. And there is another term that is used to this type of languages, whether they are whether it is a C or C++, they are called as imperative languages. Imperative, imperative, imperative languages. They are called as imperative programming languages because they achieve their primary effect by assigning values to the variables. Okay, this is regarding variables and constants. Let us experiment with symbolic constant. So hash define used for symbolic constant. Say let us call it as pi. What is pi? Pi. Here we don't use equal to, space followed by it. So hash define pi 3.142. Okay, now what I am going to do, let us try to calculate, uh, something pi r square, okay, area of a circle. So that means you should know the value of the radius, pi r square. Pi value you know it, pi value you know it. So r value you should know, r value you should know. So let us say r represents the radius, where in pi r square, what is r? R is the radius. Let us say r is the radius. Now let the radius be real type. Let us call it as r, and let it the data type be float. Okay. Next, area you are going to calculate. What is the area? Say pi r square. That means pi into r square. So you can write r to the power of 2 actually. There will be some function like a POW which you can use. Instead, we will write it as r into r. R into r is nothing but the r square. Okay. So pi r square. Now area we are calculating. So here when you are calculating the area, so again it will be a floating point value. So you have to declare it. So whenever you are using any variable, you have to declare it. So if you want, you can check it now. We are not declared yet. What is the error message? Here you can see area undeclared. So you have to actually declare it. So here you can declare it here itself or on a separate line also. So area will declare. Now let me compile it. So compilation finished successfully. Okay, Okay, pi r square. Okay, area is pi r square. Okay, that is the correct formula. Now what I have to do? So while declaring itself, or while declaring, please remember what I have done. I used it and then after that I declared it. So that's how we generally proceed. It doesn't mean that you should not first declare it. You can declare it and then use it. But while writing the programming logic, whenever the program is large in size, so you will be concentrating on your logic. Declarations you can do later. Okay. Declarations you can do later. But before compilation, you have to do it. Now, pi r square. Okay, pi value. Okay, I defined it like this. And r square. R value, I need it. So, what I have to do? There are two ways. Actually. Which we have already seen. Initialize it. To some value. Say r equal to 5. We can initialize like this. But the better method is reading it. In C language, there is one statement called as scanf. So just look at the syntax. We will discuss the general format of it later. But for the time being, just look at the syntax. So scanf similar to printf only. So but you have to place ampersand before the variable names, whatever you want to read. Ampersand, this ampersand is required. Ampersand, you can see here ampersand. That ampersand is required. So what is the difference between printf and scanf? Here, in case of scanf, there will be printf, and this will be same whether it is scanf or printf. But in the case of printf, we don't use ampersand. So in the case of scanf, every variable should be preceded by ampersand. Okay. So I am reading it. I'm reading it. So I'm reading it. So if you can directly read like this. So I will print it also. Area of square. Let us see. Printf area is, you can write like this. So this area is, and that is optional. But you can write whatever you want within the double quotation marks. Whatever you want within the double quotation marks to convey the meaning. Okay. So, but wherever you want to print the value at that place, you have to specify. You have to use this format specifiers, percentage followed by, depending on what you are printing. Now here it is not D because I want area is floating type. So I have to use F. I have to use F. We will discuss the list of format specifiers, but you can remember these things. We will not explicitly use them, discuss them. So for integer it is D, for floating it is F. So percentage of is percentage of, okay, area. Let me check what happens. Finish it successfully. Okay, execute. So it is waiting. For what it is waiting? It has not printed anything. It has not printed anything. Why it is waiting? Because you have used scanf statement. You are trying to read it. That means it is expecting you to give the value of the variable, that is R here. R. So I just call it as 3. So area is 0. Why area is 0? Why area is 0? Why area is 0? So what is the mistake? What is the mistake? We are reading it. We are reading it and then we are calculating it. Now why the value is not printed? Why the value is not printed? Okay. Now if whenever you get these type of problems, what will be the problem? The R value is not read properly, or you are trying to read it, R is floating. So here you can observe R is floating, but what I have to use? Percentage F, I use it percentage D. Okay, that may be the problem. Let us check again. I will give the same value. So now I am getting. So these type of mistakes are difficult to find. These type of mistakes are difficult to find. Maybe you try to use them correctly while writing the program itself. So by practice, you can definitely identify them. You don't commit this type of mistakes. Okay, you don't commit this type of mistakes. But as you become an expert programmer, so you usually commit only silly mistakes. You will commit silly mistakes. If it is even you will be able to write the programs for using the complex logic. You will be able to solve the complex problems, but usually end up doing this type of silly mistakes. Okay. Now it is just waiting for you. It is just waiting for you. Now what I want to do is, you should convey some meaning. You should convey why it is waiting. So why it is waiting? So it is expecting the value of R to be entered by you. So instead of waiting with blank screen, I can make it print the message so that the user immediately enters it. So printf enter the radius. So like this, radius. So I've written like this. What happens? So it is asking you to enter the radius. It's just conveying the message. Now whatever you type, it will display. If you type there abracadabra, it will just print abracadabra only. Okay, it will not ask you to enter the radius. Whatever you type there, that will be printed. So it is up to you to enter the correct message. So enter the radius. Enter the radius. So 5.232. So that is the value of the radius. That is the value of the radius. That is the value of the radius. Okay. So what we discussed, we used in this case symbolic constant. Now pi. Okay, like you may be calculating the area of the circle here. You may calculate the area of something else. So suppose in all these things, say whatever may be the case, area 1 equal to pi into say 3, pi into 2, say area 2 equal to pi into 4. Suppose these are the cases. So declare here font area 1, area 2, area 2. Okay. Now let us try to compile it, build it. So build it. The compilation finished successfully. Compilation finished successfully. There is no issue. Okay, but we are not printing it, we don't get. But here the point to be discussed is, now in all these formulas you are making use of pi. Now suppose somebody said pi value is don't use that pi value, or the pi value is 3.2 only, take it as 3.2. Mathematicians found it, or your lecturer said you don't use 3.142, use 3.2. Now suppose this statement is not there. Suppose if this statement is not there, so what you are going to do actually, so in this place wherever pi is there, previously there will be 3.142. So wherever 3.142 is there, you have to go to that place and modify it. So here also 3.142 will be there. You have to go and modify it. Like this. Okay. Every time you have to modify it. So you have to go to every statement and then modify it. But if you have something like hash define by 3.142, now if your teacher asks you to use only 3.2, here itself, here you can change the value of pi, and you need not go to these statements, individual statements, and then modify it. It works. So whenever you have situations like that, whenever you use the value only once, if you calculate if you use only the pi value 3.142 only once, or if your program is only about area of the circle, then fine, you can directly use 3.142. Suppose if you are working on a program where you are supposed to calculate the area parameter of different geometric figures, and in all those formulas, say pi is there, pi value is required, and if there is any chance of pi value being modified, then it's better you use symbolic constant, not the constants 3.142. So that is literal constant, so don't use that literal constant 3.142. Okay, so because it makes the program more readable, and it also makes modifications to the values easy. Okay, this is regarding the symbolic constant, one example. The another one we will take, better one. Say XPR three plus 8. Okay, here defined XPR as 3 plus 8, and say some result equal to, we are interested in multiplication of expression price. Okay, let us assume like that. Okay, now what is it? This is integer result. The expression EXPR, we have already defined it. So printf %d okay. So what is the value you are expecting? Compile it. So what is the value you are expecting? What is the value you are expecting? So generally the people think that, okay, it is EXPR is 3 plus 8. So 3 plus 8 means 11. 11 into 11, that is, what is 11 into 11? Is it 122 or 121? 11 10 jar 110 plus 1 110 plus 11. Okay, so you will expect some 121. Now what is the value that is printed? If it is what you are expecting, it is something like, you are assuming that it will be 11. The 121. You are expecting this. So with 3 plus 8 being here, you are expecting 121 with 3 plus 8 being here. Now let us build and execute it. You are getting 35. So what is exactly happening? Why you are getting 35? See, whenever you use symbolic constants, the point to be noted here is, so first code substitution will take place. Whatever you have written here, so the general syntax was hash define name test. So wherever name is present, that test will be substituted. That means, so actually what happens here is, so EXPR into EXPR. So what is EXPR? It is 3 plus 8. Okay, next star again 3 plus 8. So this is what is happening actually. 3 plus 8 star 3 plus 8. So substitution takes place. So after that expression will be evaluated. After that expression will be evaluated. After that expression will be evaluated. Now while evaluating the expression, there are two rules. We'll discuss in detail later, but precedence rule, associativity rule. Expressions are evaluated according to the precedence. Now the issue here is star has higher precedence than plus. Plus is present here. Star has higher precedence than plus. So that means the sub expression will be evaluated first. That is 8 star 3. What is 8 star 3? That is, what is 8 star 3? First 8 star 3 will be evaluated. First 8 star 3 will be evaluated. What is 8 star 3? It is 24. 8 star 3 is 24. So 24. So to these 24, 3 is added. That is 3 plus 24 plus 8. What is it? It comes to 35. It comes to 35. Comes to 35. Is it 35? Okay, this is what is happening. This is what is happening. So please note that whenever you are using symbolic constants, first substitution will take place, then evaluation of expressions. Then evaluation of expressions. So this is one tricky question. So please note that. Please remember. So here you can see again. 35 is printed. 35 is printed. So this is regarding the symbolic constants. You can write the code also. Probably will do those things later. Okay, at this level, we will not discuss those things. How to write the small code. Maybe when we discuss functions, we'll do it. Try to do it if necessary. Okay, this is regarding the symbolic constants. Okay, next. So what is left over? Enumerations. Enumerations we can create enum, say bool, brackets, yes, no, let us consider only simple enumeration. Okay, enum bool, yes, no. So what happens is whenever you are enumerating means you are actually giving names to some integer constants. Constants may be difficult to understand. That's why we use enumerations. We give name. Here what is happening is S is getting the value of 0, no is getting the value of 1. No is getting the value of 1. So if you want, you can print and check. So you can write like this. Let us try to find out what are the values. So here you can see S is 0, no equal to 1. S is 0, no equal to 1. So S value is 0, no value is 1. So this is convenient sometimes. This is convenient to sometimes, or this makes programs more readable. Don't achieve any additional functionality, no additional functionality, but it makes your programs more readable. more readable. If you want, you can override it. I think you can write like this. Now let us check what are the values. What are the values? So 1 and 2. Now yes is 1, no is 2. So that means, so whenever you write like this, for the first one, if you initialize it to some x, the remaining ones will take values x plus 1, x plus 2 like that. So because here x is 1, no is 1 plus 1, that is 2. If you have another things called p say, then it will be 3 like that. So enumerations generally you use it to make the programs more readable. And maybe if you want specific applications, maybe if suppose you are working with the days of a week, Monday, Tuesday, like that. Days of a week, whenever you are working with true false type of things, whenever you have this multiple choice type of questions, whenever you deal with such programs, you can go with the enumerations. Okay, so but rarely we use these enumerations. Next is, what is the next one? This is enumerations, escape sequences. Discussed about escape sequences. Now what is the escape sequence? Already told you, escape sequence means it is a sequence of characters that represent some other character which cannot be represented directly. It is a sequence of characters which represent some other character which cannot be represented directly. You cannot represent it directly. New line cannot represent it directly. So that's why you have used the escape sequence. So new line you have already seen. Okay. So suppose you write like this. What is the output? What is the output? Think. Let me run it. Hello world you are getting. Hello world you are getting. Hello followed by world without any spaces. Now suppose you want to print hello on one line and world on another line. Then in that case you can use the escape sequence called as /n. So what happens is, after printing the hello, the cursor will go to the next line, and whatever you want to print, it will be printed on that next line. Let us check it. You can see here, hello and world are printed on different lines. Okay. Now, so instead you want to do like this. So you want to print hello world, followed by tab space, so which is represented as /t, CHE and NA. Okay, want to do like this. Now what happens? So here you can see a tab is printed, horizontal tab. Okay, a tab space is printed, not single space. Here you have written space, that's why it is printed as it is. But here what you are writing? You are writing /t. That means horizontal tab. If you check, there will be a tab on your keyboard. So usually tab will be set to some value. I think some 8 spaces. So those 8 spaces will be printed. So like this, you have different things. Let us check. But some of the escape sequences are no longer used. Let us see. slash a works or not. What is happening? Observe. You are getting a sound. I don't know whether you are able to listen it or not. Whether you are able to listen it or not. If you listen carefully, you may be able to listen it. That means that slash a is for beep sound. Slash a is for beep sound. Okay, whether I don't know whether my microphone is able to catch the output from my speakers or not. So, but you can listen some beep sound. You can listen some beep sound. If you want, try to keep it. So if you are able to listen, that means you have very good ears. Okay, very good ears. Doesn't matter even if you are not able to listen. So slash a is for beep sound. So like that, some escape sequences will be using slash 0. Slash 0 is another important. Slash n will be using commonly. Slash n we will be using, and slash 0 will be using with the strings. With strings actually we will discuss. It indicates a null character. It indicates a null character. We'll see. Slash t, etc. These we don't use generally. We don't use generally slash t. But whenever you want to print things in a proper manner, whenever you are generating the reports, you may use this type of escape sequences. Slash t. Slash t. So there will be some escapes. There are some escape sequences which are no longer used. Vertical tab, which was used with the printers, I don't think it is now used. As far as my knowledge goes, we are no longer using it. Some special circumstances we may use it, but for us it is not important. So that is regarding the escape sequences. So in this programming session, we discussed about variables, constants, enumerations, escape sequences. Variables, constants. In fact, under constants, we also discussed constants, symbolic constants, enumerations, then escape sequences. So these 5 things we have discussed. Okay. I hope you understood. If you want, you can take any editor and then practice. Okay. But there will be a separate session on these programming environments. After that, you can do a lot of programming. For the time being, you can just observe, listen. Because you need to know the rules of the game first. You need to know the rules of the game. Usually, whenever you are riding the bicycle, you will get some instructions. What is what? What is pedal? How to press it? How to apply brakes, etc. Theory. So that's what is happening now. You can do the practice later. If you know anything about the integrated development environments, if you are comfortable, you can work. But if you don't know, you need not worry. You can just observe. You are just knowing the rules of the game. Thank you.